Good, thanks for waiting. We are ready to get started. I'll just do that one here. Okay, so I hope you can all see my screen. Good, so welcome everyone again. This is Mark speaking. I'm the product line manager for voice over IP products at Patten, based in Switzerland. With me today, I have Tanya Barbeito. She is our marketing manager responsible for Western Europe. So
hello, everybody.
She is going to support me for the webinar today, introducing the new PRI Smart Note series. I'm glad that all of you are here. So I'll get started with a quick overview of what we are going to present to you. So a few words about the market trends happening in the telecom space. Then I want to go into directly what the new product is doing, the advantages of it, the key features, and then a few words about the hardware. So what kind of ports and interfaces are coming along with it. Then how this new product can be used, what the applications are, and then we want to give you an overview about the Web Wizard. We talked about it in one of the recent webinars we have done already. So today, some more details on the Web Wizard. And towards the end, a few information about target customers, where the new PRI product can be used for. And for sure, at the end, a Q&A, if there still will be some questions from your side, which might remain unanswered. Just quick information here. You have the option on your panel on the right-hand side to type in any questions during the presentation. Tanya will be glad to answer you those questions during the presentation. And as said, at the end, there will be a Q&A where we'll be glad to give you the final answers to your questions. Good, let's get started. The market trends. So everyone's talking about all IP. That's for sure. With that migration happening, that means ISDN lines going to be end of life. So you, or most of you, I think, are aware about the ISDN line shutdown from several carriers, whether it's in Switzerland by Swisscom or Telia in Sweden. This requires customer equipment to be made all IP ready. So whether this is done with an ESPR or with a gateway, so that's what's going to happen. Along with that, survivability becomes a key element, whether it's done through redundant links, through voice over IP, or still through an ISDN line if it remains available. With more and more customers, more people using voice over IP across a public network, VoIP security becomes more and more important, whether it's just using encryption across the public network or other different mechanisms against fraud protection, or if it's just simply hiding the customer's network topology. IP routing performance, another aspect in this case, with more services being available in the internet, in the cloud, it requires much higher bandwidth from the access link, which is usually given. And then at the CPE, sitting at the customer's network edge, a proper routing performance is required. With all that, nice features or functions required to address all these trends, as outlined here. Another aspect is ease of use. So it doesn't help if a unit going to be installed at the customer's network edge is doing all these nice functions, but requiring a day or even more to be installed and configured. So the ease of use, the simple configuration and deployment is a key element, which all goes down to the pricing. So the price value ratio is an important thing. And that's really where we set ourselves from Patten a target for the new PRI device to come up with a really nice price value ratio along with an excellent IP routing performance.
Mark, but the advantage of this new PRI, you said the price value ratio. So you mean you made the PRI units less expensive, let's say 5% less?
Oh no, we are talking about a different scale here. It's not 5%. Of course, 5% would have been nice. It's much more. So we're talking about the price reduction on the list price in a range of 40%. So it's really significant, and this is why we're so excited presenting you today this new PRI unit.
So just for our channels to understand, we're talking about 40% discount.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
And along with that, the unit is coming in a small and nice form factor. So it's a really handy device, not a bulky unit requiring a lot of space in your rack. VoIP security, of course, included. So to be safe on that side against fraud and DOS attacks. It's a multi-purpose operation unit, that's for sure.
So what do you mean with multi-purpose operation?
Okay, so it's not just doing VoIP. It can be used as a security element, service demarcation element, and it's also doing routing, data routing, and combined with telephony services, it can do QoS, which is well known for patent products. So it's not just upstream QoS, but also the downstream QoS in this case.
Okay.
So with all that, it really protects the investment one of your clients might already have been done. So whether they've installed an old PBX, an old PRI PBX, but they want to benefit or are even obliged to change to a VoIP service. So with the new PRI units we're presenting today, they can protect their investment they have done and still can benefit from the new technology. Good. So this brings me to the key features of that product. So just to highlight a few of those. However, still this list here is just an excerpt of all the things we can do. Most importantly, it's running Trinity, our new operating system, which is coming with really nice features, whether it's within the security side, supporting TLS and SRTP or stateful firewall. So the new unit also has gigabit Ethernet ports to be able to route and perform properly when it goes down to data traffic routing. And as indicated here, you can see it's coming with 1 or 2 E1T1 ports, and it's supporting up to 30 ISDN to SIP calls.
So we don't have any more the 4-port PRIs?
Sure, they will remain in our portfolio, and that's something I want to cover towards the end of this presentation to show you where this new product fits into our portfolio. But it's correct, it's supporting one up to a max of 2 E1T1 ports. So that means the 4 E1T1 port devices, they will remain in our portfolio. So as the 4970 and 4980 devices, as you may know. Good. Then just moving on to the hardware. As said, it's coming in a small and nice form factor, this device. On the back side, you see the connectors we added to this new device, the E1T1, PRI gateway, and ESBR. So the ESBR is coming with 2 Ethernet ports in order to support data routing and act as a proper ESBR. And it's available with either 1 or 2 PRI ports. However, the 4170 is coming with just 1 Ethernet port, acting as a gateway only. As you can see, USB port, that's also available. So with that, you'll be able in the close future to connect a 3G or 4G cellular modem to it, which will enable an additional WAN uplink for data traffic, whether it's going to be used for the primary link or for survivability applications.
So this enclosure looks like the let's say SNDTA and 4120 enclosure. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It's the same enclosure we were using for the SNDTA or 4120. So it's a really small and handy device.
So the new PRIs are just that small.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Good. So we're moving quite fast here. So the next thing I want to talk about is the applications. And I want to start really simple with the 4170, which is the gateway. One example application would be that customer already switched to an IP-PBX. However, that customer still wants to do some phone calls over an ISDN, an E1, T1 PRI line. There, the 4170 will exactly do that conversion from voice over IP to ISDN. Or if it's just being used as a backup line for survivability, the 4170 will exactly cover the needs of such a customer application. Just switching the connections and flip them. So also here, the 4170 will be the right device for a simple application as indicated here, where a customer is running on an ISDN PRI PBX, which might have been installed just a few years ago, and that customer don't want to just exchange again its PBX as for now, and still this customer is able then to do voice over IP calls using the 4170, doing the conversion into a VoIP public network. As you can see, 4170 is supporting G722 HD voice, so that's available if needed, and also if it's required, it can support SIP TLS SRTP, requiring an additional software license. Now, switching just the device in the middle to a 5570, which is the ESBR unit in this case, it still is doing the same thing. What I would like to show you now is how the migration might happen from the old ISDN technology over to a full IP scenario. Now, moving the ISDN PBX down, the 5570 can act as the call switching device, managing the calls from the internal calls to the outside into the public network, and it will also manage the calls to the ISDN, PSDN for backup, for instance. So this could be the first step of a migration to all IP. Then as a next step, the IP-PBX would be installed coexistent with the ISDN PRI PBX in order to allow the customer a smooth migration to all IP. So for instance, the employees of that customer base, they don't have to be trained all together at the same time for the new telephone sitting on their desk. So this really allows one employee by the other migration from the old PBX to the new IP-PBX using voice over IP. So this picture here shows you that a smooth migration is possible. There is no hurry for the customer, no big investment required right now. So it's just a 5570, which has to be placed at the customer's network edge in order to be ready for the full IP world when the ISDN lines are going to be shut down. So this picture here shows you that even in a full IP scenario, the 5570 is still the right device sitting in the middle of that connection. So which is doing the VoIP security, it's doing the network topology hiding, hiding the IP-PBX and its settings from the outside world. It's protecting the network against fraud strikes from the internet, and it's acting as a service, SIP service demarcation point, actually. Good. So with all these nice applications, as you have seen, where the smart node is playing a key role, it's obvious that it's a flexible device. However, flexible means a lot of settings can be done on those units. And there we set ourselves another target to make it, even with a complex unit which can do many stuff, we set ourselves a target to make it easier for you and your customers to do installations with smart nodes, to provision the units in a really simple manner, whether it's zero-touch provisioning or some config creation automation. And with that, we came up with the Web Wizard, where Tanya will give you some more details around what we have done in that respect.
Yes, so the Web Wizard is a powerful time-saving tool for carriers, installers, and end customers, and of course for you channels. We created that based on an online community where you can upload your customized configuration templates, or you can use them for your customers. So please share your contributions with the community. Having said this, this online community is split into two memberships. There is the users and the creators. So who are the users? The users are basically everybody who has a login on our webpage. All those users can comment Web Wizards and can download Web Wizard or execute them online, right?
Exactly.
And in addition to that, we have the creators. Who are the creators? The creators are the certified smart node specialists who are able to create those web wizards, upload them to our community, download and comment them. But let's have a closer look to this web wizard online community. Basically, it looks like that. So we already had some patent staff members who created some web wizards and add them online. So you can see the title and the description will be taken automatically from the configuration, correct?
Right.
And then you are able to run the wizard.
Exactly. So that's indicated here. So once you're clicking on that button, it opens up a pop-up window where the elements of that wizard are being displayed. So it's pretty simple for the user to just enter the credentials and then hit the save button, and then a config file will be generated, which again can be uploaded to a smart node device.
Exactly. Or they can just download it, correct?
Right.
Or the users can comment it. And this is a really important point. So the creator of the web wizard is responsible to answer all those comments. You will get an automated email saying that someone commented on your web wizard. This is a really good tool to save time for all your installations, and you can provide them to all your customers. So you can benefit from more than 1,000 certified specialists around the world who will create online wizards and put them on our webpage.
Right. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
And really the good thing also maybe to mention here is that those web wizards, they can be run on our website, or if it's a Trinity device, they can be downloaded as indicated here. That web wizard can be loaded on a Trinity device and can be executed in the same way as on our website.
Yeah, maybe you want to explain also if this works also on smartware, Mark.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So with that kind of tool, with that mechanism, it's also possible to write a wizard which is generating a config file for a smartware smart node. So it's not a must requirement that you need to have a Trinity smart node. So if that wizard is written correct, it can also support smartware configs. However, that wizard cannot be executed on the smartware device itself, but on the online platform, on the patent website. And from there, the text config file, as you're used to it, will be generated, and that file can simply be imported on the smartware smart node, and the configuration is done. You're happy, you save time, and also the customer is happy as the unit is up and running within a couple of minutes.
Exactly, and not just their customers will be happy, but also this is a good tool to increase the brand awareness. So we really want your technical guys to create those web wizards and put them online, because as you can see, your company will be published on our website and you will gain brand awareness.
So it's really just the effort, let's say, of one technical expert, let's say, creating a wizard, which then at that time can be, let's say, reused by many others with the same kind of application, just using or executing the wizard to be faster for an installation to be done, to be completed.
Exactly, but we will hold another webinar to explain exactly the steps of how this web wizard is working.
Exactly.
But this was just an introduction. We are planning to launch it in June, but you will get information as soon as possible.
Very good. Thank you for the update here, Tanya. So let's switch back to the new units we are launching today, the 5570 and 4170. I want to give you an overview, which is, I think, pretty useful for you to see what are the differences of the new device compared to the current devices, 4980 and 4970, which will, of course, remain in our product portfolio. So they will be coexistent with the new units. Web Wizard support, running on Trinity in this case, as mentioned before, is supported for all the units. HD voice is a key feature available on the new devices, which is not there and won't be there on the current 4980s and 4970s. SRTP support, and so on and so on. And at the bottom, I just put in the list prices information, where the list prices starts from in US dollars. So this will give you an indication on where we're at with the new product. So it's a really big difference. As we said before, a 40% off the list price for the new low port density PRI gateways. So we're really excited about this, and we hope that you'll be excited, and again, your customers will be excited about it too.
So maybe we can answer here some questions. Pavel is asking if there will be a 60 call support on the new units.
As for now, it's supporting 30 calls. However, it might be possible that in the close future we will expand that unit we just built, supporting up to 60 calls. However, this is not defined yet how this will look like. So as for now, 30 calls on the new platform. If anyone requires more calls to be supported when it goes down to SIP ISDN, then the 4980 or the 4970 will do its perfect job in that respect.
Okay, thank you. And Edward is asking if there will be some fans into those new products.
Fans? Okay. There isn't any fan, so it's fanless. So it's passive cooling on those units in that medium or small size plastic enclosure. It's going to be delivered. So it's no noise. It's silent with a passive cooling system.
Okay. And can I just ask you the last question from Gisbert? He's asking 30 channels fixed on the 5570 IP to PRI.
Right. The 30 channels is from ISDN to SIP or versa. However, if it goes down to an all IP scenario, as I showed you before, there it can support quite many calls as indicated. So it's in the range of 500 calls we tested in our lab. However, this number really under ideal conditions. So there is nothing else done on that unit. But if it's just doing SIP to SIP calls, it can support up to that number indicated here.
Okay, thank you. And Alexander is asking if you can use 2 Ethernet ports for backup.
2 Ethernet ports for backup. It depends on the application. So, I mean, the unit is coming with 2 Ethernet ports, and they can be used in whatever manner. So if both Ethernet ports are used as a WAN link with fallback functions. So we also support nice tools there with zip option pings, for instance, detecting if the WAN link is still alive or not, and then it will switch to another WAN link. So that's all up to the installer, to the user, how the unit should act. So those two ports, they can be used for whatever purpose, even if it's two LAN ports or one WAN and one LAN. So it's not hard coded.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Then I think we should move on at this point. So this table here really focused on what the new units are doing compared with the older ones we had. And also here, as you can see, and that's, by the way, the overview graphics, as you can find it on our website, the 4170, the new device here with one or two PRI ports compared to the 4170, which is covering then the high end again up to 120 calls, but the new unit really a nice cost-effective device supporting up to 30 calls. For the ESBR product, the 5570, so that's the one also on the lower end of the PRI port count, supporting 30 calls when it goes down to SIP to ISDN telephony. However, if it's in a full IP scenario, all IP scenario, it's supporting up to 500 SIP to SIP calls. That's what we tested in our lab, which has been working fine from that point of view. And as indicated, it's coming with two Ethernet ports, 2 gig Ethernet ports, in order to support a proper performance and throughput on that unit.
Okay, sorry, Mark. Gisbert is asking also, so it doesn't need any more license to make it from 15 to 24 VoIP calls?
It depends on the unit, on the SKU. So that's something you'll find on the internet.
They can upgrade it.
Exactly. So there are models we providing with 15 channels, and those devices can be upgraded in a increment of one channel. So you could do 24, or you can even upgrade it to 30 if required. So this really gives you the flexibility to hit the right number of calls required by your client.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Then so much about the overview. Then a few words about the target customers we see for the new product. So in the medium enterprise space, usually running on one PRI unit, supporting in a range of 15 to 30 calls, so just above the PRI level, or if it's in a all IP scenario, supporting more SIP to SIP calls. So that's where this product perfectly fits into. So just to give you some examples here, an idea on where the unit can be used for, whether it's on a logistics company or any bigger agencies requiring 15 to 30 ISDN to SIP calls, or whether it's for a school campus or so. So that's the target customer base. There might be much more, and I mean, it's you, our partner, knowing the customer base the best. So that's just to give you a rough idea where the target customer base will be for that product. Very good. So we are getting closer to the end of that webinar today. I'm glad that you joined us for that launch we are doing with the new PRI product. However, if later on there will be questions you might have, you know how to reach us, how to contact us. Depending on the region you're coming from, you'll find the contact details on our webpage as shown here on that slide. So feel free to contact us. Before we close the webinar today, two more things. An outlook to upcoming webinars. So we'll do more or less the same thing for our registered partners. So we wanted you as our channels, as our primary contact customers to be informed first of the new product. And following on June the 9th, we'll do a webinar for the registered partners we have in our database. And as mentioned before by Tanya, we'll be doing right before the summer vacation period starts, the Web Wizard webinar, giving you some more details about how this tool is working, what the benefits are, and how it's being used. Then I would say we can spend some minutes on some additional questions, if there are any.
Yes,
I don't know, Tanya.
Yeah, Pavel is asking a question. Will DSS1 connection between ports in the units use licenses or not, like in the 4970?
Yes, so that's circuit switching, hairpinning, so that's going to be supported. So there can be calls made from one port to the other, ISDN to ISDN, yes.
Okay, and then Pavel is also asking whether will there be a USB port in the 4170?
Right. 4170 will be also supporting a USB port. However, their IP routing is not supported, so it can be used as a WAN uplink in a similar way as the Ethernet port will be used. So just to give you some more details in that respect, the 4G, 3G modem support using the USB connector is on our roadmap, so we are really close to release that. So I'll be glad to inform all of you once this is ready. So we are right now in a early prototype phase where we're doing tests in our labs and with some selected customers. Again, you'll be notified once this is available.
Okay, thank you. And then Arnold is asking, can I configure the whole device now with the web GUI?
Actually, that's also a good point. So the web GUI on Trinity, as some of you know, is basically supporting the basic features. So not all the functions we support on the CLI is available on the web interface. However, there are two things we are working on currently, or we have been working on. So one thing is the web wizard to make it easier to just display the required settings to the end user, to the installer. The web wizard is addressing this, so there is not a real or not a big need, let's say, to use the web interface. So that's one thing. However, the other thing is we set a priority to support more functions on the web interface, and that's actually something we are working on, or our engineers are working on. So with the upcoming software release in the coming weeks, we'll be having more and better functions on the web interface, and there will be constantly added more and more functions.
Okay, good. And then Michelle is asking when we will start shipping the 5570.
Right. That's actually something I didn't mention. Good point. So we're almost ready to ship those units. So we are in the pre-ordering phase. So feel free to order any of those units already now. So we are ready for that. Shipping will start in about 3 to 4 weeks from now. So right before the summer starts. So it's towards the end of June, we'll be ready for shipment.
Okay, thank you. And then Miroslav is asking, on the website, there is no information that they can order the SIP register license for the 5570. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It's because that license is included as on all our ESBRs. So 5570 is coming built in with the SIP registrar license.
Okay.
And it's supporting it's supporting 4 SIP to SIP, it's supporting 15 SIP to SIP calls, and that can be upgraded as well with the corresponding license or accessory as indicated on our website.
Okay, and then let's have two last questions. Gisbert is asking, in migration scenarios with existing PRI PBX and PRI outside also supports 30 channels?
Exactly, that's right. So it's supporting 30 channels. So in such a case, it's just the PBX doing the calls, or in 90%, I would say, through one E1 link supporting 30 calls. The same amount of calls will be going through the other ISDN link going to the PSDN. So overall, that's right, a 30 calls when ISDN is involved.
Okay. And the last question from Edward. He's asking that it will be interesting if it supports USB devices such like GSM LTE fallback, also SFP modules, if it supports.
Yeah, okay. So the first thing, yes, that's going to be supported. That's what I mentioned before. The 4G LTE and 3G UMTS USB dongles, that's going to be supported pretty soon. However, SFP, that's not an option on this hardware. For that, we have the 4990 series supporting SFP.
Okay. Great. I think we are done with all the questions. And I mean, the channels can still ask us or send us an email for the remaining questions, right?
Absolutely, yeah. As said, feel free to send us any questions. So if you have any. And so before we close this webinar, we just wanted to ask you 2 questions. So it just takes a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
So the first question will pop up on your panel right now.
Could you please reply? That would be great.
Okay, so how does it look like?
Yeah.
Are you getting some responses, Tanya?
Yes, we're getting on.
And I mean, this is really to also make it a nice experience for you as our customers, so that we can take advantage of those replies you're giving us for the next webinar to make it even better, nicer, even for you.
Okay. So I'm going to close this question now. Then ask you the last question before we leave.
Okay, so just waiting for your input for the second question we have to you guys. Couple of more seconds for everyone to respond.
Good, let's wait another 5 seconds.
Should we do a countdown? 3, 2, 1, and close?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Very good. Okay. Then I would say we can close this webinar for today. We are sorry that it took a little bit longer than indicated, but I think it was worth it. So we really appreciate all the questions we've gotten, and we are looking forward to seeing and hearing you again soon. And we will be sending out the invitations to the registered partners, as mentioned, as a next step for the webinar coming up beginning of June. Again, I would like to thank you for your patience, and also thank you for taking the time to attend this webinar, and wishing all of you a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.